This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I call to order the meeting of the Town Commission on July 6th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Thank you to all those who are listening to our live audio feed. Just a reminder to those that wish to make public comment during the meeting are encouraged to attend in person in our socially distanced chambers or send comments to the town clerk prior to the meeting. Clerk Armstrong, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Cobb?
Here.
Mayor DeCassa?
Present.
Vice Mayor Herbert?
Here.
Commissioner Pugh?
Here.
Commissioner Vichala?
Here.
Will you all please rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we move on to additions, deletions, modifications, and approval of the agenda, I would like to ask for consensus from the commission to do a rule suspension of 9.1, which is the sequence to debate, which basically means we will discuss regular agenda items as a commission first, then open it up to public comment, then it will come back to the commission for vote. Do I have consensus?
Yes, we do. Yes.
Yes, we do. Okay. Are there any additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda? No? Okay. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda. That is a motion by Commissioner Pugh, a second by Vice Mayor Herbert. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Presentations and proclamations. Town Manager Stevens, will you please present the Employee of the Quarter Award?
It would be my pleasure. Thank you. It is my sincere pleasure to present our Employee of the Quarter Award to the town's Treasurer and Human Resources Administrator, Jean Hallahan. Jean has been an asset. Jean has been an asset to the town of Ocean Ridge for the past 16 years. She was recently promoted to treasurer after serving as the deputy treasurer for many years, and she's excelling in that role. Jean was instrumental in moving the town toward accepting credit and debit cards and helped to implement the program, which is a great benefit to the residents and customers alike. This new program will also give us the ability to begin accepting electronic building plans once that software is in place. If I had to describe Jean as an employee, the words that come to mind are dependable, knowledgeable, friendly, and eager. She is always willing to take on new responsibilities, fill in for others while they are away, or assist in any way she can. In fact, we used her dependability to get her to this meeting tonight by telling her that she was needed in a moment's notice. She had no questions whatsoever. She just showed up to help. Congratulations on your award, Jean. We wouldn't know what to do without you.
Thank you so much.
It'll be 16 years I'll be here this month.
Oh my
So,
God.
thank you.
Thank you.
And your gift card.
Thank you, Jean.
Well, it's been real and it's been fun, and hopefully, I don't think I'll be here another 16 years. I'll be in a wheelchair by that time. But anyway, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You know, every night at dinner time, my husband was here 28 years. I've been here 16 years. So for the last 30 some years, we come home and say, what happened in Ocean Ridge today? So when I go home, he said, now what do we talk about? Was there water main today? You know, did something blow up on the side of town, or, you know, did we have another bomb come up to the beach, or, so, yeah, all the crazy stuff that's happened. And I don't know where all the bodies are buried. Karen knows that. But,
You know enough to be.
Yeah, she knows enough.
yeah, I'm forgetting more. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Surprise, you don't have to stay for mine.
You can go.
Yeah.
I afternoon. No, see, she still needs me.
Okay. All right. Town Clerk Armstrong, will you please read the announcement?
A budget meeting will be held on August 2nd at 2 p.m. at Town Hall. The next regular Town Commission meeting will be held on August 2nd at 6 p.m. at Town Hall. The next Planning and Zoning Commission meeting will be held on July 19th at 8 a.m. at Town Hall. Please join us each month prior to the Town Commission meeting at 5 p.m. for the building official educational forum in the Commission chambers at Town Hall. Details, including topics to be discussed each month, are on the town's website. Residents who wish to sign up to receive important town notifications and news through Civic Ready should sign up on the town's website or call Town Hall first.
Okay, thank you. I'll now open the floor to public comment on non-agenda items. Please come and join us, Mrs. Sloat.
Hello, my name is Beth Sloat. I live at 6550 North Ocean Boulevard, apartment 7. And for those of you who are not familiar with that address, it is at the end of the canal from the Intercoastal Waterway to Spanish River. And I, along with my neighbors, are very concerned about William Swain and his plans for us. If you recall, Madam Mayor, I spoke with you on I sent you an email on March 15th asking to meet with you after the election. And I did not hear from you. You were elected and I congratulated you. And then I wrote to you again, and this was after a closed door meeting with Mr. Swain's attorney. And there has been nothing public with regard to that meeting. And those of us who live along the Spanish River are very, very concerned. We worry about it every single day. I feel like we're entitled to have some information about the meeting between the commission and the attorney and where we stand with relation to Mr. Swain. He's been very successful in undermining everyone. And I want to know if the town is going to be able to stand firm to prevent him from destroying the lagoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just to address publicly, unfortunately, when we have a closed door session, we are not allowed to talk about it publicly. I would be happy to meet with you afterwards. There has been several rulings outside of our own town that have involved Mr. Swain that are very much pointing in our favor. So as those kind of pile up, we will be a little bit more confident in having discussions. But right now, because we're under active litigation, we cannot talk publicly about it. I apologize.
Can you say that you are currently involved in litigation with him?
We have been for the last 4.5, almost 5 years.
That's why we can't talk public about it. I called Ken Cleo.
He would have a better.
He would be
Thank
able
you.
to speak more freely.
Okay, that's a good suggestion. Thank you. I'm sure you can appreciate it's very difficult to be in the dark about this and wonder if anything is being done and accomplished.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you for your comments. Other public comments?
Good evening. Bear with me, I am not a public speaker. I took online public speaking for college. I'm here on behalf of Papa B, the owner of 3 Inlet K.
Can you state your name and address?
I'm sorry, my name is Janice Burnett and the address is 3 Inlet K. We are trying to demolish the house and one of the requirements from you all is a letter of credit for the demolishing of the house. We looked into doing the letter, and when we asked our banker at Chase, he said that he didn't believe that we needed one. So he wanted us to call you guys, and you guys said in fact that we did. for us to get the letter of credit for the demolition of the house. It's going to take 15 business days, and then we have to incur a cost of 20 to 25% for us to be able to obtain that letter, which doesn't really make sense because that's a lot of money to be giving to the bank just to obtain a letter of credit from the bank for the demolishment to be approved. We've been trying to do this now for 9 months, and we were wondering if there were any other ways that this could be done faster and more effectively. Like, would we be able to give like a cashier's check for the sum as opposed to obtaining a letter of credit for the demolishment?
So I'd like to refer you to our building official offline with Durrani Guy.
Okay.
And he will take advisement from our town attorney also. So when you say that you've been at this 9 months, you've been trying to get the letter of credit for 9 months?
No, we've been trying to go forward. We have,
I just didn't want to think that we've been holding you up.
No,
for 9
no, no,
months
no.
to make sure that that was
No,
very
there's a
clear.
lot of steps, and every time we go to one step forward, we find something and
Two
we're
steps
pushed
to the
2
side.
steps back, yeah. So we really want to get it done, because right now the property is sitting vacant and it's an eyesore.
Before you leave, please take one of Mr. Guy's cards and.
Oh. Great, thank you very much.
Or if you have to leave, you can take one now.
You have a card?
We have some in the lobby.
On the counter.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very
And
much.
you did great public speaking.
I appreciate it, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can we address that?
No,
No.
you're not the building official. Sorry. Okay, any other public comment? Okay, seeing none, I will now close the floor to public comment. Okay, next we're moving on to item of approval of a consent agenda. I'll now entertain a motion on approving the consent agenda. Oh,
Should I read it? Yeah,
read it
two
into the
things.
record.
So I have to read it into the record, and there was one change that I need to make to the special town commission meeting minutes of June 7th, 2021. It's just one sentence. So the approval of consent agenda is adopt minutes of the regular town commission meeting of June 7th, 2021, adopt minutes of the special town commission meeting of June 7th, 2021, adopt minutes of the special town commission meeting of June 22nd, 2021, acceptance of the revenue and expenditure report for May 2021, approve lien satisfaction for 77 Island Drive, Ocean Ridge, Florida 33435, resolution number 2021-11, resolution of the town commission of the town of Ocean Ridge, Florida, authorizing the execution of a state highway lighting maintenance and a compensation agreement with Florida Department of Transportation and providing an effective date. Designation of voting delegate for the Florida League of Cities annual meeting. If you guys do approve the minutes of the special town commission meeting, I just asked to make it that condition so I can go back and hear one of the residents said that it was not exactly what she stated. So I just asked to make it with that condition.
Okay, I'll now entertain a motion for the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Second. Okay, that is a motion by Commissioner Pugh, a second by Vice Mayor Herbert. All those in favor, can you please signify, oh, you're moving with the change, potential change to the record?
That's correct.
Yes, okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0 and unanimously. Moving on to regular agenda items. Agenda item number 2, appointment of a planning and zoning commission alternate member for a 1-year term. Clerk Armstrong, will you please advise us on this item?
Mayor and town commissioners. So there's one position that needs to be filled, and that's one alternate member for a 1-year term. So we had 2 candidates express desire to fill this position. That was Nick Arcelli and Roger Brennan. So their resumes are both attached in the package. The only thing is usually right after on the deadline date, I do ask the SOE because it is a requirement of the code that they are an elector of the town. The SOE has not gotten back to me just yet. SOE is the supervisor of elections, has not gotten back to me just yet. So I ask that when you appoint the candidate as shown on the ballot that I will hand out, with the condition that the candidate is an elector, and if the candidate is not an elector, then the other person can fill it. So we don't have to come back before you guys.
Have both verbally said they are?
I believe so. They both have said verbally, but I have to confirm with SOE.
Okay, are either of the candidates here this evening so we could solve the mystery?
Unfortunately, they were not able to be here either.
All right, I'll now open the floor to to commissioner discussion. Any discussion? Are we okay with the terms and conditions of the clerk? Okay,
I guess. I still think he should be here when you get appointed to a board. He should be able to show up.
before she passes that out, I'll now open the discussion to public comment. I'll now close public comment. Clerk Armstrong, will you please proceed with the election process for the Planning and Zoning Commission member? Thank you.
Two fantastically qualified candidates. for the one this year. Both of them.
Okay, Roger Bruner received three votes, so he will be.
Okay, I'll now entertain a motion to appoint the Planning and Zoning Commission member as selected by the ballot votes.
So moved.
Okay, that's a motion by Commissioner Cos, a second by Commissioner Bishalat,
With the conditions, right?
with the conditions. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item number 3, ordinance 2021-03. Clerk Armstrong, will you please read the ordinance by title into the record?
An ordinance number 2021-03, ordinance of the town of Ocean Ridge, Florida, amending its code of ordinances at chapter 64, zoning, article 3, supplemental regulations, section 64-41, accessory uses, building and structure generally to address the allowance of dune crossovers by building permits, is seaward of the 1979 coastal construction control line, and to address dune crossover steps, providing for codification, repeal conflicting ordinances, severability, and an effective date.
Thank you. Attorney Godot, will you please advise us on this item?
Yes, this is second reading to clean up the inconsistency regarding the ordinance that was passed in 2020 regarding the coastal construction control line and the dune crossovers to allow for dune crossovers to be approved by building permit as opposed to going to the Board of Adjustment. As you may recall, in first reading, we went through the language and it was asked that in subsection 8, we include reference to the deck, walkway, and steps so that the dune crossover is completely inclusive to allow that to be approved by building permit. We'll also mirror other language in that same code, being more inclusive of what a dune crossover consists of. There's also a minor change to the title to make sure it was clear that this was not being approved by building permit.
Okay, thank you. I'll now open the floor for commissioner discussion. Seeing none, I'll now open the floor for public discussion. Seeing none, I'll now bring it back to commission.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2021-03 on its second reading.
Second.
That is a motion by Commissioner Cos, a second by Commissioner Pugh. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to agenda item number 4, ordinance 2021-04. Clerk Armstrong, will you please read the ordinance by title into the record?
Ordinance number 2021-04, an ordinance of the town of Ocean Ridge, Florida, amending its code of ordinances at chapter 62, waterways by renaming chapter 62 to waterways and parks, creating a new article 4, parks, and creating a new subsection 62-61, hours for parks to address the operating hours for public parks located in the town, providing for codification, repeal of conflicting ordinances, severability, and an effective date.
Thank you. Town Manager Stevens, will you please advise us on this item?
Yes, a request was made to limit the hours of operation for the linear park the attached ordinance that was passed by the town commission on first reading last month addresses this issue and allows for regulation of town parks, and it's staff's recommendation that this ordinance be adopted on second reading.
Thank you. I'll now open the floor for commissioner discussion.
I would like to table this for 30 days with what we had in the budget meeting, the whole situation with the act, and it gives us more of an incentive that everybody comes together over the security issues. This is a security issue for Ocean Ridge Yacht Club, and it would give more leverage, I guess. Besides, I'm not totally in favor of this ordinance in the first place because I talked to the lieutenant about this, and there has been no police reports. They had cameras out there. There was no activity on the cameras of any illicit behavior. It's like it's one of those ordinances we adding ordinances to our book, and it's basically for nothing. Okay, I'm not super in favor of this in the first place.
I would say that the residents nearby asked for this ordinance, and they're in a better position to know whether or not an ordinance is needed than we are.
Well, I think the ordinance is the town being able to make rules for our parks. That's what this ordinance says. So it really doesn't have anything to do with that park we're talking about. However, this ordinance is just giving us now the authority to make that. So we should pass this ordinance, and then if you want, because what's going to happen, then we're going to change the rules. Or we may change the rules, we rephrase that. But this ordinance is giving the town the ability to make the rules. So to me, that
We only have one park.
we only have one.
Two.
As far as
And the fact that we have no control
We have no
over any of the
control.
parts of them.
Can I make a suggestion? If you're going to table anything, it should probably be the resolution that's coming up next,
Correct.
which sets the hours.
the hours.
I think that's what Jen just said.
Yes.
Anyway, but that's, we should move forward.
Vice Mayor?
I have no problem with this. I understand that there are issues, as with any public park that's next to a private residential area often. And I don't want to use it for leverage, so to speak. I want us to do our job, which is to protect the situation as much as possible. So I think we're good.
Okay, I'd now like to open the floor to public comment.
Hi, Gail Meyer, Bremen, 5598 North Ocean Boulevard, right next door to that park. And I personally have not observed any, but I've heard a lot from the neighbors that there are some real issues going on over there. And so I'm just here to speak for my community and Crown Colony next door. So yeah, we would like to know that we're safe and that there aren't people, walking around in there and creating glitter and noise and a little fear for not knowing who's there. So that's all. I would really appreciate it if you would pass that ordinance.
Is that only during night hours? Or is
Usually
it-
during the night, yeah.
They used to have a drug problem.
Yeah, we've heard about drugs, we've heard about alcohol. Yeah.
Right.
So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, bringing it back to commission, I'll entertain a motion for the adoption of resolution 2021-04.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, that is a motion by Commissioner Vice Mayor Hurlbert, second by Commissioner Cos. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Poison.
Okay, motion carries 4-1. Moving on to agenda item number 5. I believe we're on agenda item number 5, are we? Yes, thank you.
No, I skipped one.
You skipped one, okay. Okay, resolution 2021-12. Town Clerk Armstrong, will you please read the resolution by title into the record?
Resolution number 2021-12, a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Ocean Ridge, Florida, setting park hours and providing an effective date.
Town Manager Stevens, is there anything else that you need to advise us on this item?
No, this is just setting the park hours for Lanier Park and Ocean Ridge Township.
And what would those park hours be?
Sunrise to sunset.
And what are the other parks in the town?
They're controlled by entities other than us. We have Ocean Ridge Hammock Park, we have Oceanfront Park across the street, Ocean Inlet Park.
And what are their park hours?
The Ocean Inlet Park, the inlet is open for fishing in one section of it, 24 hours per day. The general parking areas are sunrise to sunset, and they are gated. As you move south, Hammock Park is sunrise to sunset, as set by county ordinance and resolution. Oceanfront Park, the city of Boynton's park, is sunrise to 9 p.m. There is currently discussion about adjusting those hours by the city of Boynton Beach.
Up or down?
Depends on who you ask, but just suffice it to say that the parks manager and I and the chief of police have been in discussion about an adjustment that may line up better with our ordinance. And then Ocean Ridge Natural Area is in fact regulated by the county ordinance and resolution, and that is sunrise to sunset. If you do Linear Park, that will be in line with all of the other parks, obviously with the exception of the inlet, which is the one section for fishing.
Okay, thank you, Chief. I'll now entertain a motion for the adoption of Resolution 2021. Public comment?
Commissioner O'Connell.
Hearing none, we'll come back to the commission either for a motion or comment.
Comment.
Okay, we had comment before, so comment again.
I missed that part. But my only question is sunset to sunrise. In law enforcement, that works for you?
It does. We're generally pretty informative and educational when it comes to park hours. They are posted. We can be to the minute if we want by looking at the national time clock. And so today is sunset. If someone decides to take offense to it, but generally when it gets dark, we're there. And we generally are working on complaint on these things, especially at Linear Park, because we recognize that there will be an educational phase because it is not gated, it's chained off. The other ones are very simple. We determine when sunset is and we lock the gates.
So when is sunset in your mind? Okay. That's
Yeah,
what my-
yeah.
Very good.
We'll give you, we will give you.
It's 8:32 and somebody's there at 8:31.
We will generally give you the benefit of the doubt. Well, we will give everyone except for you the benefit of the doubt.
Reason. Okay, is there any other pertinent commission conversation?
Same as before.
Okay,
Please give me 30 days.
all right. I'll now entertain a motion for the adoption of Resolution 2021-12.
So moved. Second.
Okay, that is a motion by Commissioner Pugh, a second by Commissioner Claus. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. Agenda item number 5, resolution number 2021-13. Clerk Armstrong, please read the resolution by title into the record.
Resolution number 2021-13, a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Ocean Ridge, Florida, amending the adopted schedule of fees for various services and providing an effective date.
Thank you, Building Official Guy. Will you please advise us on this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. This is also another reduction in fees. Didn't stutter, reduction in fees. All right, for a few of the changes that we've made, quite a few have actually been reductions. This is one of them. It's actually in response to a House bill that was passed and went into law last year. It's a little bit late, but we're just catching up on our records that allows private providers the reduction in fees. So contractor homeowner has the option of utilizing a private provider that is certified to perform inspections on their project. And as such, it's written into our state statutes that the towns shall reduce fees when a client chooses this option. And this is just us complying with what the state requires for us to put that into our codes.
Okay, and do you think that there'll be any offset in our budget by the reduction?
Definitely not. The other thing is when we offset, it means that we're not physically doing inspections. So with the exception of auditing these jobs, which will have to happen from time to time, it is actually less work for a project that utilizes a private provider for their inspections.
Okay, thank you for bringing it forward. I'll now open the floor for commissioner discussion.
Pretty unlikely that that's going to be any issue in our town in the first place.
Agreed. Okay, I'll now open the floor for public discussion. Now close the floor for public discussion and back to commission for any commission discussion or entertaining motion.
Make a motion to adopt the fee schedule changes as proposed by the building official in resolution 2021-13.
Second.
That is a motion by Commissioner Vishalak, a second by Commissioner Pugh. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to staff and committee reports. And item number 7, planning and zoning chair, Mark Marsh, would you please present your report?
Different approach. Good evening, Madam Mayor and Commission. Mark Marsh, Chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission. First of all, I'd just like to thank you for nominating an alternate to our commission, because it's been, some of you know, it's been a long, hard process to find candidates. So I think we'll be very thankful for that. I've had, and I must acknowledge my 2 other commissioners, Rick Carey and David Hitchens, who have filled in this role, and I hope they will continue that, but they're both unavailable tonight. So we did have a meeting on June 21st to review any of the submissions. We had 1 development plan review, that was 3 Inlet Cave Drive, which was unanimously approved. There were some conditions, and I'd like to expand on that. We're finding at our board or our commission that a number of applications are coming in with the new trend of transitional architecture. And as an architect, I yet to know what that really means. It really means, I think, a mixture of styles. We are now getting a little bit more conscious of what, qualifies for this transitional style. It's, in my terms, and I explained it at our meeting, you can't just take a contemporary base of a house and then put a hip roof on it and have it kind of comply with a good aesthetic. So I think it's going to take a little bit more input and from architects and response from our commission to somewhere get a nice balance, because the result can be sometimes quite jarring, not done correctly. Hence, we asked some of the conditions of approval were to lower the tie beam height on the garage. It was 12 foot high. There is no need for a garage to have that kind of elevation, which again helps to scale the residence down. We're on a mission to try to get some kind of shade tree in the landscaping instead of just all the coconut palms that you see. And I think it's only fair for us to at least attempt to request that. It gives a much more balanced look community-wise to have a little bit more foliage than just a big blank front entry. But we're doing it very calmly and under, it's a movement we're trying to do. We're not trying to dictate that you have to have a shade tree, but it's a recommendation that our commission feel quite strongly about. And I hope that this commission shares that feeling as well. There was an interesting thing, and again, these are coming up to us more often, where with the FEMA elevation increases, obviously new projects need to create retaining walls between their existing neighbors. We had a situation on this one where a neighbor was trying to understand what exactly was proposed because he's currently low, they're going to be higher by 2.5 feet. And we wanted to establish that the walls were not going to be an impact to the existing owners. And so we're just getting a little bit more sensitive to this whole elevation situation. We did have one withdrawal from an application, obviously no review of that. We went on to discuss the issue or the concern about flat roofs, whether we should allow them or not in town. I can report that our commission were unanimous to the fact that we're not discouraging them, but we need to have criteria which we can then evaluate their impact. I speak personally because my concern is the vertical scale of a flat roof house. And I don't mean to bore you, but currently our ordinance doesn't allow flat roofs per se. You have to have a low pitched roof behind what's called a parapet, which is a perimeter wall. And what that does is your minimum slope roof is 4 and 12. It's still a fairly reasonable pitch. And what that means is that the parapet wall grows vertically to mask or screen that sloped roof. So we're trying to establish a medium, and we've discussed, and I'm sure hopefully when we have a workshop, this will come out in more detail. But basically, we want to limit the height of parapets so we don't get these, tremendously exaggerated vertical walls adjacent to other more traditional homes. So there will be, but I do want to report that we are in favor of flat roofs. We're not encouraging them, but we are willing to see, if owners want to do that type of architecture, that they be allowed to come in and work with us. There are some restrictions which I think we're asking Mr. Guy to keep an eye on, such as access to these flat roofs, the type of equipment that has to be put or will be put on flat roofs. So we'll get into more detail later on that. Interestingly, Commissioner Hennigan brought up a observation, which I think we all agreed, that a lot of the new homes are starting to look alike. They're starting to mimic each other. I don't want to use the word cookie cutter, but it is a concern. I'm hoping that the commission agrees that we don't want to have a town that's replicating a number of new residences that start to look alike. I think the thing on the beauty of the character of Ocean Ridge is that everybody has a style, and we want to keep as many styles and mix of styles. We don't want to start to look like a more development approach to, especially new construction. So it was a good point that was brought up, and I think that's something that needs to be put on the workshop when we eventually meet, which I think Kara's went in October. Okay. I think just in general terms, I just want to report, because I don't do this very often, I think we have a very good and balanced commission at the planning and zoning level. Any of you who attended or listened to the meetings, you'll see that there's quite a cross-section of thoughts or ideas, but I think in the end, we all blend together very well. So I think it's a commission that's representing the town very well in a very professional manner, I must agree. And one of the things we're doing, and expanding here a little bit just because we have time, seems to be a rather short meeting. that, you know, we,
Yes, start talking. Time to change that.
we are, as a coastal community, we are in that unusual or somewhat unique situation where, like most of these small coastal towns, we have no commercial zoning. So everything is geared to residential construction. And I think we need to keep looking at our neighbors north and south and see how they're approaching some of the issues, whether it be flat roof setbacks, FEMA elevations. And we've asked, you know, our planning consultants, Corey, to report to our commission with findings of all the other communities, because it is still a unique thing where you have a whole town that has no commercial entity at all, or any municipal apart from a town hall, obviously. So that gives it a little bit different flavor as to comparing to Delray or even the Palm Beach. So we have to be conscious of that. I think we want to encourage good participation in the workshop. I was one of the people that try to promote workshops because I think it's unfair for both commissions to be either working against or together. And I think it gives us an opportunity to discuss openly some of the concerns. So with that, I'll answer any questions that the commission may have. Good to see you all. Come and visit us. But again, thank you for the offer. It's, you know, it's desperate to find qualified people, and I think those two candidates are very good. So.
Any commission candidate comments or questions for Chair Marsh?
I just am going to point out in the discussion about the larger shade trees, besides the fact of breaking up the obvious palm tree world, is also it's helpful for stormwater drainage.
Yeah, and it creates a kind of an ambience that I think the town is known for.
Actually cools the area.
Yeah, it's just so much that's a great thing.
Yeah. So your support on that would be very helpful. I know I'm not mandating anything. We're not regulations. We're open to discussion. And so thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you to your committee. Yeah. Agenda item number 8, Town Manager Stevens, will you please present your town manager report?
Absolutely. Just want to notify the public that the emergency declaration for the town of Ocean Ridge and Palm Beach County in relation to COVID-19 has now expired. COVID-19 vaccines are readily available for those that wish to receive one, and we ask that everyone still remain vigilant because COVID is still out there. We have the variants in the area. Please still remain vigilant, even though we don't have the emergency declaration. I already talked to you about the ARPA funds at the budget meeting, so I'm not going to go over that again, but I will bring you updates as more information is received on that. The town's 30-year potable water contract with the city of Boynton Beach ends in November, and we are currently in negotiations for a new contract with the city of Boynton. And I'll update you on that as more information is received as well. Bargaining sessions for the police union contract have commenced, and we hope to have a contract finalized by the end of the fiscal year, September 30th. The town engineer, in conjunction with the lighting contractor, are still working with FDOT on the Crown Colony Crosswalk lighting plan. We hope to have this finalized soon. It's been a really long process. I'm still in hopes that we'll be able to finalize it for the end of the fiscal year. The joint meeting with the Planning and Zoning Commission is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, October 12th at 4 p.m. Please mark your calendars. And last but not least, in the month of June, we celebrated the anniversary of our part-time dispatcher, Gene Rosenberg, at 10 years, although he has served the town in other capacities, such as volunteer on the reserve police force for many more years than that. We thank him for his service and dedication to the town.
Thank you. Any commissioner comments or questions for the town manager? Okay, agenda item number 9. Town attorney, do you have anything to report?
I do not, thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome. Agenda item number 10, Chief Hutchins, please present your report.
Please accept the report as is presented in your agenda for May of 2021. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
My only question was, last time the new chief was here, we had expressed the desire to have a bit of a more robust report on fire EMT, including some of the details on response times. Do you think they're going to be able to do that as promised?
I once again asked the person that's preparing them to speak with the chief to determine what format he will be using. There seemed to be some confusion in getting the monthly report from point in this time, as they have had apparently some personnel changes again. It is an ongoing situation with us and Brian, and work in progress.
Okay, thank you. Any commissioner comments or questions for the chief? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to agenda item number 11. Town engineer and public works report was included in our meeting packages. Are there any questions or comments from commissioners? Hearing none, although Chairman North duly cut into my bet for having a very quick meeting, we're still on track. Which is the heads up to you, Mr. Guy. Agenda item number 12, building official. Will you please present your report?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. One thing I'd like to add, I'm sorry, is that of the 95 bills that were signed into law by the governor on July 1st, 5 of those pertained directly to the building code processes. I won't delve deep into them, but I'd like to point out that the request for a permitting software will actually resolve a lot of these. Some of those have to do with the efficiency of departments having the ability to access information about your plans online, and also to be able to do certain functions online. So that came in. I'm still going through an understanding, and I will be able to give a better report next time, and also to answer more questions about the 5 bills pertaining to those changes. Otherwise, please accept my report as presented. To answer any questions you may have.
Any questions or comments?
I guess it's a question, comment. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you have the full support of the commission on the upgrading the software for the permit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which will, and there was my question too, which will tie into the new mandate that came down from the government. And then I have one more question, and that's on 6273 North Ocean. We have an extension that runs out in July, on July 21st. Do we have any updates? Are they going to be in compliance?
They will not be in compliance. They've already been given a courtesy notification, and they will be sent the code enforcement notice upon expiration.
And just for edification of the public, once it goes to code enforcement, then they will start to accrue potentially daily fines, correct?
That is dependent on the magistrate finding violation.
Okay. And just for everybody else's edification, 6273 is the pyramid. It's been called the parking garage. It's been called the mall, shopping mall. It is directly across from Hudson. So hopefully we can put this one in the rearview mirror.
How close to completion are they?
Not close. Not more.
Still?
Still.
After 5 years.
Moving on to commissioner comment, there was none submitted ahead of time, but I welcome anybody who, a commissioner who has comments they'd like to bring forth.
Well,
Okay, so close. Hearing that, I'd like to thank everybody for attending this evening and call this meeting adjourned at 6:47. Well done. That's gonna kill
Yes, Steve, could you kindly give me 10?
That's the main.
How's he doing?